Hi everyone, and welcome to Women in Retail Talks. In today's episode, the Women in Retail Leadership Circle's co-founder, Melissa Campanelli, sits down with Dominic Essig, Chief Experience Officer of Bonobos. Listen in as she discusses leadership tips, the best advice she's ever received, and her favorite quote, live from the podcast studio at the National Retail Federation Big Show in New York City. And now, on to the show.
So I'm going to just jump ahead to, I'm also the co-founder of the Women in Retail Leadership Circle, and I love chatting with women who are senior leaders in the retail space. So can you offer our listeners who might be part of that group or who are, women leaders, some best practices around, leadership or being a leader in the industry today?
Gosh, that's a tough one. It's a great opportunity and a great challenge. I think, to me, when I look back through my journey, I think about the women before me that were mentors and really guided and helped me, through my career. And so I think a lot about how do I do that for the women that are on my team as well. We've just now started in our technology team, which encompasses kind of data science, engineering, product, and UX. We've started a women's group, so we think about
that's great.
and we had that at previously at one of the companies that I worked at. So it's basically a women in tech group, and I think just encouraging each other, really making sure that we have a strong focus and working together is important, and building each other up too.
Yeah.
And I think that applies obviously for people that work for you, but also people that you work with. And so I'm lucky in the sense that Bonobos actually has a pretty healthy, I think there's 4 female executives on the C-suite team.
Oh, that's great.
And so just making sure we're really thoughtful about that. I had a goal, I think, in 2016, kind of maybe you call it a New Year's resolution, but was to meet a lot of female leaders. And so I made it a point to try and introduce and meet as many other kind of peers in this network, because I think we have an opportunity to really work together.
Yeah. Oh, well, you definitely have to join our group.
Yes, it sounds fantastic.
So can you maybe talk a little bit about some of your vendors, some of your mentors? I'm sorry that you mentioned. You mentioned Travelocity and Guilt. I'm wondering if Michelle Peluso is one of them?
Yeah, she's definitely on that list. I have 4, basically, that I worked with at Travelocity and Guilt. And I think, to me, what was probably most remarkable about those 4 women in particular, Michelle Peluso is definitely one of them. Tracy Weber is another one who was at Guilt and Travelocity. Jenny Mall and Elizabeth Peasley, I know all 4 of them and still talk to them to this day. But I think they never really made me feel that I was in what was pretty focused, a male-dominated field. So, I actually feel pretty lucky that I never came up in a career where I felt like actually out of place in the room. And I credit those 4 women in particular for driving that and really helping me.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the experience going forward for a lot of women. Like when I think about my daughter who's 13, she's sort of like, what's the big deal with this men and women stuff? But it's kind of like luckily she's in a different generation.
Yes, I'm also super thankful. I mean, I had a really amazing father who told me I could do anything, and there's a great book, a children's book, which it will be too old. Your daughter's too old, but it's called Girls Can Be Anything.
Oh, that's great.
And I read that book, and I still have that book, and so I have 2 boys, but yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
It's a good one.
So, excuse me, so talking about mentors and leadership, and moving forward in your career, do you have any advice that you've received that particularly stands out that you might want to share?
Well, that's a good one. I mean, I think being an extrovert myself, that I am, I think just making sure that I'm confident and I have a strong point of view, but that I also allow the space to happen for others. And I think that's clearly still something I'm working on and will always work on in my career, but it's not losing the confidence in yourself and your ability to speak up, but making sure that you also allow other people to contribute to the conversation. And I think what that then reflects is that, yes, okay, she's got a strong point of view and she can really clearly communicate, her perspective, but she also encourages other people to participate. And I think that's a strong, characteristic and trait of a really great leader. So I'm still working on that. But yeah.
Just getting people to come out of their shell, kind of. And,
I think, and encouraging them 100%.
Yeah. And then what about like a quote or something? Does anything come to mind as being something that you think of regularly? I don't know, to get you through the day.
Yeah, so my favorite quote is, and I may get this a little bit wrong, but challenges are nothing but opportunities brilliantly disguised as insurmountable barriers.
Wow, that's
and I
great.
think this idea that, you may think something is really horrendous, or like, how am I going to get through this? But the reality is there's always some beautiful side to it. And so we have to think about that and put it in perspective.
That's great. I love it.
Yeah.
And then just finally, we've been asking everyone this at the show. can you just think of one word to describe your feelings about the upcoming year for retail?
I think exciting.
Yeah.
There's absolutely been, I think, headwinds and challenges in 2016. There's obviously been a tremendous amount of kind of cultural changes, right, within our government and just socially. But I want to choose to look that something is going to be positive and that we can try and make a difference at Bonobos with our guys. So I'm excited about it. For me, 2016 was a year at Bonobos of rebuilding, whether there was new vendors, new teams. And so I feel like we're fully, like, all in the same boat, well positioned to kind of move forward. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about the year.
That's
to
great.
come.
Yeah, we've been hearing a lot of great words. Excited. Some of the words we heard were scared.
Yeah, I'm definitely scared, but yeah.
And I don't know, customer.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to hear what everyone's sort of overview of the industry is. So, well, that's about it. I just want to thank Dominique so much for being here.
Thank
really
you so
appreciate
much.
it, and it was great to talk to you.
Yeah, thank
Have
you.
a great rest of the show.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. For more information on the Women in Retail Leadership Circle, please visit www.wirlc.com. Also, don't forget to connect with us on social at WIRL Leadership on Twitter, Pinterest, and Instagram. Until next time, this has been Women in Retail Talks.